Zetsubo shita. Long YouTube videos are making me in despair. Uh, because I've started to realize with a lot of content people I follow on YouTube, they are putting out increasingly longer videos. And obviously, a lot of these content creators are quote unquote gaming the algorithm, whatever that means, which is, depending on the day of the week, could be something different entirely. Because I've been following YouTube for a very long time, and the meta has sort of shifted a lot throughout that time period, and you will see different trends within different channels, depending on if they closely want to follow the so-called meta. And I guess what I'm about to talk about with the videos that I've observed might not necessarily be reflective of the entire platform as a whole. However, you are starting to see an influx of longer videos, which is something that you didn't used to see a lot in the early days. And by early days, I mean 2011, or I mean like 2 years ago, because this wasn't something that you saw all that often. I think the best way to gauge this, though, is by looking at the sort of relatively medium-sized channels. But I want to start with the bigger channels. And these are people I follow regularly that I feel that are good examples of this. Because there are some bigger channels like Donkey. The average length Donkey video is like 5 or 6 minutes, regardless of what era of YouTube this was released or whatever. Scott the Woz is a perfect example of the YouTube algorithm and what's been happening with it as of late. I started watching Scott maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, and when he first started, he was making average length videos that were about 10 minutes. I would say he started to hit his stride around the time. I'm not sure. It doesn't really matter. But the point is that he was making weekly videos uploaded every Monday, and they were, to be expected, about 10 minutes long. And there were a relatively short, comical editorial piece a la Angry Video Game Nerd, AVGN. But here's the big but, that you can start to see inklings of this as early as the Madden 2008 Christmas special 4 years ago. 2017 is the date we're looking at here. And that video was 20 minutes, and that was the first special he did. This is not unusual, though, because Scott is someone who has been influenced by other people like JonTron and AVGN. But then after that, he started to release videos that were a little bit longer. Shorter ones were maybe like 8 minutes, but you started to see like Most Wanted HD Remix 17 minutes. These videos likely were not terribly difficult to produce because they needed to be made within a 1 week time frame, because he uploaded every Monday. So the videos that wanted to be made longer, the more elaborate projects, needed to be taken into consideration and planned accordingly. So there would be like a couple short videos, and then a long video would come later, something he had in the pipelines for a while. So then you start to see videos that are like 15 minutes. That's about the average. Every Monday, I would expect to see a video that was maybe like 12 minutes long from Scott the Woz, and then I would watch the video as I ate my lunch every single day for the past 3 or 4 years. And the reason why it hasn't been the entirety of that time frame is because we started to see videos that went beyond the scope of the mealtime video. And here's something that I want to talk about: the mealtime video. I almost exclusively watch YouTube while I'm eating. It's very rare when I'm watching YouTube simply to just watch something. So the mealtime video is ideally a video that is around 15 to 20 minutes, and you can watch it while you eat. It's not demanding of your attention constantly, so you can look away, you can look at your plate, you can kind of cut your food, fix your sandwich or whatever, assemble whatever you're doing while the video is in the background. It's half background noise, half not. A lot of these will end up being stuff like the Digibro vlog or the Scott the Woz 2018 era editorial video released every Monday. It's a casual video game haha funny video released every week that I could watch and be like, hey, let's watch a video about shovelware while I eat my sandwich today. It's not necessarily bound by the scope of the mealtime, but it's a different approach to video making that is a casual entertainment type of food. So it's like making a snack food, essentially, as opposed to a full course meal. And I really like these videos. I feel that there is a lost craft to these videos that I will get into in a bit. Actually, let's get right into it now. You start to see Scott making longer videos. You start to see increasingly longer videos that start to go into the 24-minute or 20-minute range. Here we go. Here is the video that was the turning point for Scott the Woz, and it was You're Not an RPG Guy, a Scott the Woz Christmas special. It was released on 12/23/2020. This video was important because it was a narrative. It was building the narrative of Scott the Woz in much the way that AVGN did it. Scott was doing something similar. He was building the character of Scott the Woz, whatever the fuck the Woz is, he was building it. So you start to see this, that there's an overarching narrative in his videos, and he starts to lean more into that. Because evidently, he is interested in doing so. Like, the internet and you, first time vape shop vlog, that kind of shit. In those videos, he was more of an entertainer. That's what he's always been. And the videos that are being released now, they're coming out more infrequently. Along the way, there was moments where Scott would reach out in a community post or on Twitter, and he would say, maybe this video I'm gonna wait another week. I don't want to release it now. I want to take my time, expand upon it in a way that I would feel satisfied with the finished product. He realized that a lot of these little videos that he was making along the way, for example, a 10-minute video about instruction manuals, he probably wanted to talk about instruction manuals for an hour, but he couldn't because he was bound by the scope of a 1-week timeline to make his project, right? So nowadays, Scott has been making longer videos, and he hasn't uploaded since Christmas. The last video was 46 minutes. He is making long ass videos now, and they are no longer, short shit. Along the way, 1 hour and 6-minute video about Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury. Again, increasing the scope of his video because this is what he wanted to be doing the entire time. Releasing at his own pace and talking about the video game or topic that he wants to, not bound by any restrictions. The restrictions being the weekly upload and having a short timeline to make the video. But here is the thing. There is a lost art to the mealtime video. The mealtime video is a video that has as much of a importance as the 1-hour Hazel video. Hazel uploads videos fucking constantly and they're all an hour long. I am in despair looking at my watch later because I see like Joseph Anderson on an hour and 39-minute Elden Ring video, fucking Never Knows Best, History of MMOs, 2 hours and 44 minutes. Hazel uploaded a video, The Anime Countryside, 1 hour and 17 minutes. So when I see these videos in my feed, I add it to my watch later because I will eventually get to it. However, it won't be what I'm eating. And if it is, I will watch it over the course of a week piecemeal, which is probably not the most ideal way to watch it. And now I want to bring up action button reviews because Tim Rogers, he's quite easily the best video content creator on the platform right now. The reason I say that is not simply because of the length of his videos, it's actually despite that. Because a lot of these videos that I see released that are an hour long, a lot of them are long-winded. Not all videos that are an hour long necessitate the length of the video itself. A lot of them are self-indulgent. I would know I made an hour and 40-something minute video about Under 17. It wasn't necessarily because I had a lot to say about the group as a whole. I wanted to be comprehensive about it, and I didn't want to sacrifice the integrity of the content for the sake of having an easier video to watch. And a lot of times when you think of comprehensive analysis video, you think of a 7-hour video about Morrowind, right? That is overkill. I haven't seen the video. I appreciate his effort, but a lot of times when someone makes a video that long, it's because they want to make a long video. Long videos are fine, but I brought up action button reviews because he's one of the few people that I feel that takes advantage of the length of the video, with one caveat. He knows that he's making a long video from the start. He will intentionally go off topic, or I guess he would intentionally go what seems like off topic to further the point of a video by taking advantage of the time that he has been allotted. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be done in a short amount of time. It's not about that the video is an hour and 40 minutes long and meanders a lot, because that's the point of the video. The point of the video, if it's an hour and 40 minutes long, is to talk about everything the creator wants to say in a manner that they can best say it. It doesn't necessarily have to be concise. A lot of credence is given to people who can either write concise or make a long project, because making a long video and releasing it is probably the best feeling in the world. It's ego stroking, it's masturbatory as fuck. And that's the hard truth of the matter. That when you see someone who likes to release an hour-long videos, 2-hour-long analysis videos, it's because they think highly of themselves and their craft. And they don't want to sacrifice the integrity of what they're doing by cutting themselves short, giving them, or potentially squandering the opportunity of saying something brilliant within the 2 hours, whereas within 20 minutes, might not necessarily be able to say the same thing in less words. And I guess the point of this is that people have been overlooking the importance of the mealtime video, which is the 15 to 20 minute analysis video that gets to the point. You can't just want to make an entire analysis of Dark Souls 3 in 10 minutes. You might be able to talk about a small aspect, and that's the point. It's the scope of videos has gotten fucking ridiculous on YouTube sometimes, that when I see a title of a video, it doesn't necessarily always tell me what the video is about. It's part of another rant about the importance of titles, titling your topics that you want to talk about within a piece, specifically like a blog or something, that a lot of times a blogger will do something like that's very to the point. I'm thinking of like a Digibro analysis video, like Akiyuki Shimbo in the 90s, Akiyuki Shimbo in the 2000s, and so on and so forth. Like, you see the title of that video, it's like 15 or 20 minutes long, and you know exactly what you're getting into. And that's kind of what my mindset was when I wrote my Where's My Misaki video. I have so much to say about NHK that it would be impossible to ever say it all. I could write a script for a video about NHK that's 5 hours long, and people would know it as that one NHK video that is 5 hours long. In the same way that they understand Tim Rogers' Tokimemo Memorial video as that one 6-hour video about that one dating sim. It's not what you want to be remembered as, and I think that's a sort of a detriment and the fatal flaw of the long video essay, and that's something that the mealtime video attempted to do. They're not necessarily a glorious undertaking. Instead, they are a video that knows exactly what it wants to be. It understands the limitations and the scope that it is bound to, but still tries to make do with the best that it can with the limited resources and tools that it has. The author of the video is understandably so limiting themselves and what they can talk about. They might not necessarily talk about everything that Welcome to the NHK has to offer, but they tell an interesting story and maybe talk about a very specific part of the experience of rewatching the show and what it meant to them, instead of being a spiraling video that's a very broad topic. This is just my personal mindset, but I feel that there is certainly been a shift, at least within the type of videos that I'm watching, that there is no longer as much of an importance placed on the mealtime video. Instead, it is more masturbatory projects of people wanting to make 1 to 2 hour plus analysis, fucking gargantuan, colossal projects that are longer than a movie, and I can't fucking watch the video while I'm eating my sandwich. It will take me a week to watch. I am in despair.